population. There are a few major families now because there's not really any source of industry in that region. It generally gets left out of most of the world's major history, I would say. So like think wars or deities, that kind of stuff. Not to say there aren't any there. It's just frankly not the most important part of the world. It's home to like the Farmers Guild and and like okay, it's not entirely true. The Sailors and Merchants Guild is based out of the Viridian Coast, which is important, but they don't like wage war at least directly or like have any, as said, direct, open ties to any governments. Not saying there aren't any, just saying they're, you know, like they really, referencing Game of Thrones again, think of like the High Towers, you know, they try their best to appease people and stay kind as much as possible. Generally, they're willing to work with any side. They bounce around from the Lannisters or the Starks or just whoever really fits their need at the moment. They don't really mess with too many people. To the south of the Viridian Coast is the Haft. The Haft is kind of, frankly, what you would expect from half the Viridian Coast and half the Blasted Wastes. It's kind of this cold southern, I think almost like Chile, like southern Chile, South American flavored subcontinent that is home to a lot of different roaming families and groups and towns that are constantly struggling to survive. Now, the Haft is only notable because for one specific reason. Like, it's not. A lot of the other areas are centers of industry, or the Blasted Wastes is where a lot of scrap metal and weapons come from. The Haft is the only place in the world that Palladium comes from, which is a metal that is used by Raven to make their viral field suppressants. So those are the things that cut out like magic fields and demons and all that kind of stuff, which is a very, very, very important metal. So the Haft is, people are constantly raiding it, trying to get it so they can sell it to Raven for a shit ton of money.
No, but Raven doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, they don't exist. They don't exist. So people don't do that
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah, totally.
On my mama.
Uh-huh.
Your mama dead.
Your mama did. To the northwest is what's known as the Mistland, also referred to commonly as Hinter, short for, of course, the Hinterland, which is, it's a large Pacific Northwest style evergreen, think lush evergreen forests and cold, mossy winters that are, it's just filled with kind of this, similar to the Pacific Northwest, a little bit of an air of mystery. The people there are a little superstitious. The towns are tight-knit, often only consisting of 500 to 1,000 people, and are heavily fortified and barricaded within their homes. A lot of stuff goes down in the Mistland, and people generally just...
Let it happen.
You got Pitfall in the hinterland?
No, we don't. No, we don't. People generally kind of leave the Mistland alone. To the northeast is a very tumultuous area, I would say, known as the Changeland. The Changelands are a massive, once again, subcontinental area that are constantly in flux. So every 148 days on the dot, the Changelands completely and utterly change both their topography, their weather, their climate, everything. The only thing
like
that stays
random?
the same is random. So for 148 days, it could be a rich jungle, and on that 149th day, it could suddenly lava bubbles up from the ground and burns down the forest as the land is replaced with an ashen waste.
How does anybody live
Like-
there?
Because the people who have lived there have been genetically, like, they've evolved rapidly due to the presence of viral, into they change with the biome. So this group of people, generally referred to as changelings, are an extremely adaptive species who, similar to chameleons, rather than simply changing the color of their skin, if they are in a dangerous environment for a prolonged amount of time, their body will literally, in the middle of their life, evolve to the situation. For instance,
That's
if a
pretty cool.
changeling was submerged in water for like 2 weeks, they would grow fins on their legs, and slowly, like, they would be able to have gills. Or if they were
Wouldn't they just
stuck on
drown?
it, well, I'm saying like if they were swimming in the water or stuck on a boat or something, like in the few weeks they understand as part of their culture that they have to slowly kind of push themselves into that So like for instance with the lava example, when it would first happen, a lot of changelings would die. That would happen. It would be dangerous. But the ones that do survive will quickly start adapting to the heat, the thin, ashy air. Their lungs will grow stronger rapidly from breathing it in, and they will quickly evolve to be able to filter it out. They might grow scales on their arms and legs, allowing them to be heat resistant. Their blood type might switch to be cold-blooded, so that they can better make use of the cold in the night and the heat in the day. Their body will rapidly adapt to whatever situation they're in, and that has caught the attention of a certain group of scientists from Raven who aren't currently in the Changelands investigating things. The Changelands, though, the reason that it's so important is that two things. Firstly, it's not always that drastic. A lot of times it'll go from jungle to drier jungle, similar to a season. Now, sometimes it goes from jungle to mountainous boreal valley. It happens.
Could it go to like empty space? Is that a thing?
It doesn't like void out, if that makes sense. Think of it like the law of conservation of matter. Like everything that is there still is there. It just its form might change. And over time, the changeland has been getting more stable. So like, as of current, it has for the past 25 years maintained a kind of not boreal, almost like a swampy, a northern swampy vibe, if that makes sense. Like it's cold and marshy, and it's actually where Zan's character originates from. But you're way on the northern half of the Changeland, where it doesn't like constantly flux. Like, so you're well, I mean technically both. So your city would be to the northern edge of the Changeland.
So
where
is
it doesn't
he a
really get affected
changeling?
much. No, that's what I mean. So within like if I'm talking from the core of the Changelands, that's where you see like 1 minute, like it changes much quicker. That's where you see one day it's a forest, the next day it's a fucking volcano, the next day it's a mountain ridge covered in snow and ice. That's where you see those really drastic changes, and as you leave the center, it starts to get more and more tame.
Yeah.
And near the edge
The
is
area
this.
my place is at might be like, oh yeah, it changes. Like the weather is not normal. Like
Yeah, like this year it was
rains in
7 degrees hotter, or yeah, it's been raining for 4 weeks straight, nonstop, like stuff like that, where it's just kind of weird. But the main thing is that every 148 days is when those bigger shifts often happen, and that's when like literally you can be sitting in town and suddenly there's a mountain like a mile away from your town that just wasn't there before. Yeah, like I don't mean mountain as in Everest. I mean mountain as like a decently sized hill. Maybe, on the very rough chance a mountain, but unlikely. And yes, that does cause earthquakes that happen often, but a lot of the people have evolved to be better at withstanding them. Regardless,
Oh,
that's the north.
another earthquake.
And then to the north of the Mistland and the Changelands is the Spear, which is broken up into different parts. There is the Guard, which then there is Timoner's Watch, which is that city you guys pass through, which then gives way to what is then referred to as the true hinterland. Yeah, the gateway area. Which is then what is referred to as the true hinterland, which is this very sacred kind of Nordic flavored northern region that the ice giants and generally all of the giant races inhabit.
Right, so that's
Now,
where we are right now.
Yes,
we're
what's interesting is that the northern tip of the spear is the closest landmass to so nobody has ever in this new world gone to either of the poles. The tip of the spear is only
There's nothing
50
at all.
miles off the coast of the North Pole. And a lot of people think that's why it's so sacred to the ice giants, as they believe that their god exists within the northern pole of the world.
He is not
And so,
heading towards the North Pole, Caleb. There is
and
no
so, it's very important for them to protect it because to them it's a religious site. They can go to the northern tip of the spear to commune with their deity, as if they're yelling across the water to him. So, anyhow. Oh, and then to the direct east is, on the shield, in between the Changelands and the Blasted Wastes, is an area known as Tenazal's Scar. Zan's ears probably perked up when I said that, which is, I said Tenazal's Scar, it's the name of a... You wouldn't remember that, but I'm saying the name would probably make you interested, which is because during the War of Ice and Storm, the resulting cataclysmic forces from two deities clashing in the open quite literally broke a piece of the continent off, which is now referred to as Tenazal's Scar.
There's just like a 1,000-meter pit.
No,
So I
it's like
just
an
need
island.
to
It's like a 50 by 50, 100 by 100 mile island.
something very off topic here that I just need to say. I got to this point in my run last time, and I lost 40 seconds in one of the
I
upcoming
was gonna
splits.
say, if the Spinjas and the fucking final boss, or the Jaguar weren't so bad, that was world record.
You know, but I'm in a new run right now, right? And it is on a similar pace. It is on a similar pace, but it is faster than my last run, and I still have 40 seconds to save in a level that I lost 40 seconds in
Imagine
previously.
the backdrop of your world record is me just
That'd be worse. We were talking,
yapping.
we were talking
Just,
about like fucking Diddy in
Oh
run that
my
Caleb
God.
almost got his PV on.
yeah, that would be worse. But like, imagine from the fucking second the run starts, second it's over, the entire like world of Pitfall, watching your speedrun, just has to listen to my entire D&D lore.
Yep, that's if this PVs,
hype.
that's what's gonna happen.
That's
But
actually
but
so hype.
no, but it's not like a lot of people are gonna watch it because this is the PC version of the game, which has 3 runners in one of the categories.
For the PC and console, you're not allowed. They're different.
They're different because the PC has different physics. In the PC version, basically you can jump to space. It has a faster fall time and a higher jump height. In console, your double jump kind of just stalls you out and you don't get extra height. In the PC one, it actually gives you extra height.
Got
And
it.
you also, when you do triple jumps, you just go to the moon.
Caleb, I can't believe you're not doing the task strat for the sponsors.
Oh yeah, no, yeah,
Are you on
sorry,
the snow?
yeah, the snow part.
This level seems so boring the normal way. Gotta implement the new strat.
Yeah, where I just destroy my thumb by smashing A so fast, and probably my controller in the process. Yeah, but you can continue. I was just saying this was on crazy pace, and then I did what I just did, and it's not on crazy pace anymore.
I lost 6 seconds.
But what's interesting is, so the reason my world is named Armory, if you haven't picked up on it, is that nearly all of the isles, the spear, there's the haft, the star, the mace, they're all weapon themed, and so the planet is thus named Armory. But the planet of Armory, huh?
Where's Calamir's gun?
Up yes and around the corner.
Calamir's Colt 45.
But there is, so the planet of Armory has 2 moons, known as the twin moons, and one exists on one half of the planet, the other on the other. So like Petrichoria, as a greater region, also known as the Eastern World, has 1 moon for 24 hours of the day, and the other half, generally referred to as Calamir's Domain, has another moon for 24 hours. And then expanding out to the solar system, there is 5 other planets. I can't honestly remember all of the names of them, but there are 5 other planets. And then there is the red star that exists at the center of your universe. It's in a phasal state between, or a fissile state, I suppose, between like how our current star is, as in the real world, and what a red star would be, where it's kind of fizzling out very lightly. And then outside of that, now my world, rather than like having like a galaxy, or like the the Milky Way, and then the broader like Andromeda, all the different kind of stuff. There is basically you'll have a solar system, and then way more spread out another solar system. All of the black holes of the world long ago fizzled out into radiation. It shot it out into space, which has then since become the new age of stars and planets.
Cataclysm reset the other
Everything.
Or just Earth?
Everything. The
Gilla
cataclysm, not even like so. For instance, like time itself. I'm gonna get a little.
For context, we're
metaphysics on it
talking
right
about D&D.
Time is a a construct. Time goes in all directions. I technically exist now at the same time as I do at the last moment I'll be alive and the first minute I'll be alive. Time is not a 2D plane. It's completely 3D and meshable. Now, if we think of time as this infinite blanket that goes in all directions, the cataclysm is the edge of that blanket, which is then sewn into a think of like you cut the blanket in half, and then somebody shredded that blanket.
Put it in the blender.
Yeah, somebody shredded that blanket and then is now trying to weave it back together. That's why Calamir is so weak right now. Is he's literally trying to fix reality. Because
Well,
he
he's
fucked
also
everything up.
insane.
Well, no,
That's why
he's trying to fix reality.
His brain is on 6x overdrive because he has to warp fucking
And he's
reality
also
back.
like a bazillion years old.
That too.
So,
And he's
which
out
is
of power.
which since is the whole reason why God Boons exist. Unfortunately, he got a little grumpy. So, oopsie doopsie, existence erased.
That's why I was talking
Um,
about we should get 2 bags of holding and go rescue that guy.
That's why. So technically, that is possible. Technically, what happened is that. So all of existence, including time, in my world, in terms of my mythology, getting further into metaphysics here, like time, the blanket, the infinite expanse, everything exists within what is generally referred to as the greater void. The greater void is an infinite expanse of what's generally referred to as unrealized matter. This matter in this state, so like think, law of conservation, all energy exists and doesn't technically go away like ever. It's always in the universe, it's returned. Yeah, you get the point. It's basically a more D&D magic-y version of that. So anytime something is created, its soul, its existence, its thought, not just its matter, but its thoughts. It's what makes, people always ask like what makes humans special, sentience. That comes from the void. It's drawn from it like a Capri Sun. It just gets sucked out and put into that person. And when they die, they return to the void, or so mythology would exist, or would suggest. All of existence happens within this void, like a bubble. So like our soul, all the solar systems and all that exists basically within a bubble in the void. So whenever life is brought in, a little droplet of the void goes into the bubble and mixes with somebody, making them a person or a god or whatever. Now, there are other bubbles. Roughly two other ones. One is referred to as the ruined realm. The other as actually, okay, there's 4. There's
where you can know about.
I can name all of them. So where you are currently is what is referred to as Calamir's domain. There is the Watcher's Ambry, which is a place that literally nobody could go. Like, it's actually impossible. Like, even the Void cannot seep into the Watcher's Ambry. There is what's referred to as the Ruined Realm. There is what is known as the Twin Star. And then there is another one which isn't a realm, but rather is known as the Hive Fleet. And I cannot expand more on that.
Sounds
I need
but
to
there's a
say
reason one of the realms is known as the Ruined Realm.
this is on world record pace by 10 seconds.
But the point is that's like the meta, and that's what I was talking about when I was talking about all my maps, like making a planar map, is that like explaining all of that and putting it into visualization so that
I
it's
feel like that sounds really hard.
not really, honestly. I draw a bubble and say Calamir's domain and then another bubble and
Caleb, do you need to lock in? I can drag you out if you want.
it's not
No,
too bad.
I'm good. I like listening to this. It's a distraction.
But it's just like I have So, and then within the realm, each realm has their own planes, which is what we refer to, like the deep, brimstone, uh, the Aether, the High Court, the Low Court. Those are all realms that only exist within Calamir's domain because he created them. Within other ones, there are different planar realms. It's just those are the ones that you guys have, basically. Now, there is some overlap. For instance, parts of the deep actually seep into the Twin Star as well as the Ruined Realm. And that's where the deep becomes a very interesting place. Is that it wasn't originally created for the purpose that it currently serves. Not that I'm allowed to elaborate on that, but I can say that. That's what there's a lot of stuff in my world that I can't elaborate on because you will find it out if you want to. It's not like it's necessarily even important to your main plot. It's just literal world and existence shaping information that would change the perception of any human being on the planet if they understood it. So,
Oh, 1 second off world record. 1 second.
No
Watch
way.
that too if the fucking
Oh.
the pillar doesn't smack the other one.
Is that your PB though?
Yeah, that's 30-second PB.
Seconds.
Holy shit. 30-second PB is psych, and there's still 10 more seconds to save, you said.
Apparently there's